Hey guys, what's up? This is Arceus, aka Ticketed27, and welcome back to my channel and to the little video I'm gonna do about raiding in Firelands. So this video is pretty much gonna be 100% about the gear that you're looking for, the stats, the actual mechanics and of the fights, how that's gonna affect the way you go about tanking your tuning out your tank set, all that stuff. So, yeah. Kind of, it sounds like a lot to cover, but it should be relatively simple. So, first off, I want to get across the deal that as of 4.2, paladin tanks can be block capped. So, the main tank in our guild is block capped. He, with his mastery, elixir, he is at above the cap, meaning that he's going to either block, parry, or dodge anything coming towards him. So this is great, and I'm not that far behind him. But being is that I missed a lot of the 4.0 rating content, I did miss out on a lot of gear. So I am missing primarily just like trinkets, but anyway, enough of that. So basically, you guys now, if you're gearing up a tank in 4.2, we have to look over again the idea of being block capped. So, what you do to figure out if you're block capped is essentially you add up together your block, dodge, and parry, and if it's 102.6%, I believe is the percentage, you are completely block capped. And then every mastery over that is basically useless. Now, Blizzard said they don't like this, how there's actually a cap for our mastery, essentially, to where at a certain point we can just have enough of it and then we can do other stuff. Obviously, as a paladin tank, I think it's pretty cool that we can, have incredible mitigation of damage incoming and then be able to worry about other things like stamina and possibly even threat stats as you reach that cap and go onwards as far as gear is concerned. But so I wanted to talk about these three things. So dodge and parry, after 30%, they suffer from diminishing returns, basically meaning the more you get of it after 30%, the less useful they are. So try to aim for your dodge and parry to be as close to 30% as you can. You can obviously see that my dodge is pretty close to 30% and my parry's a little bit over. I did reforge as much parry as I could into mastery or dodge, try to even it out. I think it has something to do with this parry trinket, and but yeah, that is a problem I need to overcome, and it's gonna come naturally with like gear replacement and stuff. But basically, dodge and parry, try to get them to 13%. Don't go any higher than that, or try not to go any higher than that. 1 or 2% is fine, but when you start to push like 3 or 4% over the cap, it starts to be start diminishing the return you get from it. And then the rest of the 102.6% is all going to be block. So essentially, that means we have to get something like quick math skills in my head, like 80 something block or something. That's probably wrong, but we need a crap ton of block. I should probably have figured this out before I recorded, but what the hell. So we need a crap ton of block, so that makes mastery our best and most important stat. So in every piece of gear you always want to look for it. A pretty funny example of this right now is the Griffin Rider's boots. They are 359, and they have 159 mastery on them as far as an equip stat. That actually makes them better for a tank, a paladin tank, than 365, the ones you get from Firelands dailies, just because they don't have mastery on them. Well, you can gem them and chain them to have mastery, but it's not anything compared to the 159 that you get from the equipped, which is a crap ton of block. there's actually a pair of boots, 378, that drops off of Lord Rylith, and they have, I believe, dodge and parry on them. Or maybe it's expertise and dodge, I forget. Basically, these trump those as well, even though they're a tier above it. Yes, you'll get a lot of armor, stamina, strength, but you'll lose all that mastery, which is our most important stat. So other ways to take this into consideration is gemming. So don't go after certain socket bonuses that are, like, useless to you. So 15 stamina socket bonuses, in my opinion, aren't worth it. I just, fill it up with 40 mastery gems. Something like a 10 mastery socket bonus, obviously that's something you want to go for. So, get a 20 mastery, 30 stamina gem to match your blue sockets. Personally, right now I am going for the 30 stamina socket bonuses. I might regem myself just because I really want to get block capped. But I'm gonna wait until I get a better trinkets to really see how far away I am from the block cap, as far as with the gear I have missing trinket wise. But yes. So right now it's our most important stat. So think of it as like your absolute, you need everything mastery. Anything that's mastery is awesome for you. So that is the one thing when you're trying to get block capped is mastery is it not only does it add up more, like dodge and parry add up just as much, but at 13% is like, if you have 13.27 dodge right now, like I do, and I gem my pants with 40 dodge, I don't even know if that's a gem, but if you gem it with 40 dodge, you'll get less dodge because you're past 13% than you would have if you had less than 13%. But mastery, every time I gem 40 mastery, it gives me all that block every time. Until you reach the cap, in which case it doesn't matter. At that point, start going after other stuff. But yeah, it is now at the point where some paladins are becoming block capped. So if you are raiding Firelands content, if you're going after this stuff, look to get block capped. It's a big deal. Okay, so now that we covered that, I also wanted to mention the patch 4.2 notes that I had basically had trouble understanding completely, as far as the Ardent Defender and Seal of the Righteousness. Basically, Seal of Truth is our only actual seal. So Seal of Righteousness, sorry. It is not a AoE tanking seal. So if you took that away from my 4.2 video, patch notes video, it's bullshit. So this is just, like just like another seal for tanks. You don't use it normally. The thing about the 4.2 patch notes, which I'm not sure why they included protection tanks in this discussion, is that this seal, if it's applied while you're using Divine Storm as Retribution, hits everything. So that's why that was discussed. But and also Ardent Defender, a new spell effect, that means it basically looks different. So when you cast it now, you get a bunch of little shields around you. It's pretty cool. But that's all that meant. Nothing like, it's a brand new spell or anything. And of course, the new icons and stuff. But yeah. So I'm going to talk about Firelands bosses for a minute or two, and then I'm going to sign off. What I found, I'll go through boss to boss. Bethalak, depending on what you're tanking, either adds or boss, it doesn't matter. Mastery is most useful in that fight. So you want to have as much avoidance, mitigation in that fight as you can, because all of Bethalak's attacks, unless you're standing in fire, are melee oriented, and same with the ads. And she does hit like a freight train in the second phase, so more and more mitigation and avoidance for that fight is awesome. Shanox, same thing. A lot of physical damage. And I'll tell you why I'm going through this in a second. Who wants to go next? Let's do Lord Rylith. If you're tanking the small ads, mitigation, it's really not that big of a deal because they don't hit that hard. If you're taking the big ad, it is magical. So in a fight like Lord Rylith, depending on if you're using 1 or 2 tanks, you might want to include like a stamina trinket. If you're tanking Rylith in the second phase, though, you definitely want to have enough mastery to try to survive through that. He doesn't hit too hard, and I was able to tank him relatively easily, with below the block cap. Which is another thing to note: you don't have to be block capped to tank Firelands, and I'm pretty sure it's never gonna be like you have to be block capped, because not all tanks can be. Death Knights and Druids will never be able to be quote block capped, so they can't ever make that a requirement in raids unless they drastically change the system, which I'm not sure if it's actually going to happen, but it's a possibility. Anyway, continuing on. So Lord Rylith, some mitigation, mostly magical damage. You can tank Lord Rylith with a stamina trinket, swapping out for like some mastery. Of course, we also have just divine protection. So every time you tank one of those big ads, you might just want to proc divine protection and keep all your mastery trinkets or mastery gear. What I'm trying to say is, for Firelands, oh, we're not to end. Hang on. Hold that thought. Gatekeeper. I try to tank Gatekeeper, and as I was a little bit less geared back then, it was about a week ago. I think I didn't have some of these 378s and maybe this was neck, or was it the trink? I don't know. Anyway, I was less geared than I am now, but so my avoidance wasn't as good. But basically, Gatekeeper if you're one tanking Gatekeeper, he like 5-shotted me. Okay, so mastery is a big deal for Gatekeeper. Alex Razor, or however the hell you want to say her name. Sorry. Basically, there's a lot of fire damage in that fight, but there's also a lot of physical damage in that fight. So the ads that you're tanking, when they're having a tantrum, because they're little children that you have to slap around, they do hit pretty hard, and it's all physical damage. When you're tanking Alex Razor in the ground phase, however, she does like basically blow you up with fire. So, but for that, you can just use Divine Protection once again. It does last for 10 seconds. If you're using the Glyph, it gives you 40% magical damage reduction for 10 seconds. And then you can also pair that up with, like, Guardian or Ardent Defender, which reduce all damage taken. So, but Divine Protection is more narrow. And then we come to, Major Domo and Ragnaros. What I'm basically trying to say is, in Firelands right now, the Fireland raid, it is very important to be carrying around a lot of mastery. For fights like Gatekeeper, it's a life or death situation. And for other fights, depending on how good or bad your healer or your DPS team or whatever, or the rest of your gear is, it could also be a life or death situation. So what I'm trying to stress is that with this new tier of rating, you're going to want to be carrying around a lot of mastery with you. So, yeah. That's basically all I wanted to cover in the video. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything real quick. Yep, that's about everything. So, points I wanted to go over. Obviously, the spell effect thing and the whole Seal of the Righteous, whatever crap. No big deal. Keep using Seal of Truth. Nothing really changed. Except for Holy Shield, obviously. Also wanted to talk about getting block capped, and as mastery is like our most important stat now. So just think of it as so valuable, it will make you exchange 378 boots for 359 boots, as long as the 359 boots have mastery on. You know what I'm saying? Like, mastery is like unreplaceable stat. Okay? So that's all I wanted to talk about. Just a quick 15-minute video. I hope you guys are liking the raid videos I'm posting of basically me and my guild taking down raid bosses. We're 5 out of 7 right now. I do want to get the Gatekeeper video up. I believe we're going to kill Major Domo and Ragnaros this week or next week, so I'll get those videos up there as well. It's more just of like a watch and learn kind of deal. I don't talk during them, so. But if you are having like trouble with the fights, or you're preparing to do a fight later in the week, and you want to actually see the whole fight, just watch one of those videos. I do include the whole fight, and yeah. So thanks for watching, guys, and make sure to email or leave any questions in the comments section, and please subscribe.